All right, what's it saying about the stream health? All right, it looks like it's gone live. Everything is looking okay. Let's pull up the screen over here. So good morning, everybody. I'm just getting set up here, and I'm a minute and a half early. So the live stream's supposed to start at 8 o'clock. Here I am at 7:59. So as always, welcome to the channel, and thanks for stopping by and hanging out for a few minutes. My name is Rich Charpentier. I'm the channel host, and mostly we talk about drones and drone work and mobile tech here. I'm going to go ahead and stop my email real quick. Let's go ahead and turn that off, and there we go. So the email's turned off, so it won't be binging in the background. And I see that somebody else is on here, so hey, thanks for stopping in. All right, so just about, it's not quite 8 o'clock yet, but I always like to go through and check things out for doing the live streams. So if you're new to the channel, the live streams are kind of a newer thing here. I started doing them on Mondays at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and it's kind of an interesting way for me to start my week off by talking about what we've done last week and what's coming up. And for other folks who are building their drone businesses or similar businesses, I give some tips and tricks and sometimes some other information. Good morning, Chase. How you doing today? Howdy. I like that. I say howdy too. So today's stream, we're going to be talking about two things. Number one, going around in circles. We're talking about virtual tours today. And we've been playing around with some more virtual tour work. I've shown different virtual tour things on the YouTube channel over the last year. But we're playing around with some more ideas because we had a current client, ask me some ideas that they were cooking up in their head. Corey, you just sent an email, CloudPano link. Let me double check that, Corey. I saw an email pop up. I just didn't want emails binging in the background, but let's double check. We'll pull it right up. Corey, hey, here's a link to the first CloudPano. Oh, okay, very cool. Thanks, Corey. Let's go ahead and click that. So I'm just clicking right into it. And while I'm here, let's go ahead and kill the mail now. I get lots of mail. Oh, very, very cool, Corey. Thanks for sending that along here. So taking a look around. So trying out CloudPano as well. That's one of the ones that we've actually messed with this weekend. So we went down to the Courthouse Square to do a couple things, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So nice little informational button going in the front entrance. Very cool. I'm gonna save that one after Corey. Well, you sent me that link, so that's really cool. Hey, thanks for sending it along. So we're playing around with CloudPano this weekend too, and a couple others. So I'm actually evaluating a bunch of different ones. Let's see. Let's go back down. Let me get back down to the front. So yeah, CloudPano is very interesting, and then you've got your overview flight. That is a slick idea. That is a very slick idea. So let's pop that open. Hey, since it's a live stream, why not, right? Let's see here. Is it doing it? There it goes. And then it goes right into nice. That is a very slick idea with the flyover there. And let me kill that so that the audio doesn't start bleeding through on everybody. Oh, that is really, really slick. All right, I'm gonna have to take a longer look at that one after as well. That's I like it. I like the look of the neighborhood. This must be Florida, right? Yeah, southeast. It's got to be Florida. I used to live in Florida too. So yeah, Corey kicks us off here with one. So thanks. I'm glad to see that. That's pretty darn slick. Let's go ahead and close that one up. And so this weekend, we went down to Prescott's historic Courthouse Square. If you haven't been to Prescott, we've got historic Whiskey Row, the historic Yavapai County Courthouse, and there is a lot of tourist traffic in the Prescott area for sure, especially people coming up from Phoenix during the summers to get out of the heat, because we are a lot cooler up here, so that's nice. And on this one, way in the background, you can see Thumb Butte way out there. That's another icon in the town, because most everywhere you drive in town, you can see Thumb Butte and Granite Mountain. So yeah, one of my regular clients, asked a couple things about doing some 360 virtual tours. best presentations. So last week we did a lot of research, and we're still doing more research. Right now, while I'm sitting here doing this live stream, Jody's already taken off for the morning. She's gone back down to the Courthouse Plaza because we had a specific idea in mind. And we went down on Saturday not realizing that the events are going on again on the Courthouse Square. So they have arts and crafts events, the Fippen Art Show every year, which is a famous Western museum. They have all these different things going on. But of course, with the current medical crisis and health crisis, people hadn't been coming to downtown Prescott. So we said, hey, let's go down on Saturday morning. We went bright and early. And what did we find? We found a giant event going on. So this is one of the ones that we're testing that I'm not going to really talk too much about today. This is Kula, and I'll be doing another video about that later. I was just playing around with a couple of setups, and for the setup of this morning's live stream, I wanted a darker background screen at first because the other ones are all bright. And Jerry, yeah, that was very cool work. So nice one, Corey. And I'm going to take a longer look at that since I got the link afterward. So yeah, one of the ones I've got up here is CloudPano as well. So we're testing a bunch of these 3D Pano viewers and tour builders to answer my customer's question and maybe do some additional work for them in addition to what we're already doing with them. So that was a fun question last week. We both dug into it because we're getting stir crazy, getting bored with sitting around inside all the time, and we want to get out too. When we got down and saw all of the traffic going on here, all the people, we didn't stick around long, and we did do our social distancing and had the masks. Like I've said before, if you have autoimmune disorders, you're much more aware of this stuff sometimes, so I'm just being a little extra cautious. So here we are at the center area of the Courthouse Square, and as you can see, so this is an arts and crafts show, so they're still putting up all their tents, but there's no virtual walking tours of Prescott or lots of other places. And, for small business owners who maybe are downtown here, who want to show their own location in reference to all the other businesses and attractions in the area, this could be a good way to go. And even for people who are outside of main downtown areas, doing virtual tours around their properties. Let's say if they're a bed and breakfast, that's one of my clients. They've got great interiors, some exteriors, a little bit of drone work, but maybe a whole tour through the property. And also maybe showing off where they are in relation to other amenities as well. The bed and breakfast I'm talking about, they're right around the corner from Watson Lake, and they're located in the Granite Dells. So, they've got a lot of things around them, a lot of points of interest for people to visit. So yeah, there we go. This is Kula, and we'll be taking a closer look at that one down the road. But so the two that I was responsible for testing this weekend, and it was kind of rushed, like I said, since there was a bunch of people in town, we kind of moved on out. You can add them to Google Maps. Absolutely, Corey. And one of the other ones that I'm looking at, Theasys, which we'll talk about in a bit. Theasys has some really slick features. So I'm trying to figure that one out. And there's a lot of tools to it, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. But so along with what Corey just shared with all of us here, if you missed that, go back to the beginning of the stream. Make sure that you got the chat log on, and you can see when he mentioned that, and I pulled it up. But so one of the first ones I played with this weekend was CloudPano. This is one of the ones through all the recommendations that I've been seeing online. This is fast becoming a higher end one, but it's a pretty nice one, and there's a lot of tools for you. So I'm just jumping into the editor for mine. So we've got this is one of the images we shot. So as you can see, we've got the Courthouse Square centered. And I actually put a little infographic in here, and you can edit the infographic. What I really like with CloudPano is it's very simple, very straightforward. There's not a lot of buttons to figure out, and it's some pretty obvious stuff. Down on the right-hand corner, add an info spot. So this little information thing that I've got right here, that's an info spot. You can link to a hotspot, so you can pick an area and hit a link to a hotspot. So I could put a hotspot right here. and then I could have it go to another image, or I could have it go to something else. I'm going to close that and not put that hotspot. Then you've got your set initial view, so the first thing that you want people to see. So setting the initial view is very easy. And moving your things around, so we've got our tour properties over here on the left. We've got add images, and we've got sort images. By the way, apologies if I keep looking over to the right here. It's because I'm just watching to see if there's any more comments or anything. So I don't want to ignore anyone too long. So it's the whole two monitor thing. But you can easily move these around. So if you're coming in with a block of images for 360, you can drop them in here. The upload is very, very simple. And then you can just move these right around into the order you want them in. And then, like I said, this editing is really simple. Adding info spots, adding hotspots, setting the initial view, and let's go ahead and hit preview here. So it gives me this little preview window. And we've got our slideshow items down at the bottom, but you can close those out. And we can zoom out of the image and into the image. This is a thing with all of them. And this is zooming too far, and everything's looking way too pixelated. So, so you might want to regulate how far in folks can zoom. It depends on the kind of 360 camera that you're using as well. So let's go around here. So as you can see, there were things blocking my way because they've got these vendor booths set up. So they had lots of candy and food, and that's me with my back turned to the camera and Jody laughing at me for continually doing that. This really does show off the downtown area in a nice way. So we're kind of at the center of the courthouse, but this is Gurley, and you can see this is Gurley Street. We've got World's Oldest Rodeo on the building. We've got Bashford Courts. We've got several other items. So there's a lot of stores and shops in this building. Maybe down the road, if you build up a portfolio of some of these 360s, you could actually sell them to business owners in places like the Bashford Courts where they're inside, and you don't know how many businesses are in there if you're just walking around the courthouse square. And like I said, the weekends here in Prescott, we've got a lot of people visiting. So they're all over the courthouse square and Whiskey Row and, visiting areas like that. There's also a district of a lot of antique shops here on Cortez. So there's the Cortez Street corner. And so, like I said, we are testing these out. So let's head on down the walkway here. And so there's the county courthouse. We didn't center it because there was somebody there. There's a lot of activity going on. Like I said, not the best weekend to go down. We didn't realize that the courthouse was reopened for some of the shows. So that's why Jody took off this morning, and she's down there right now because she's shooting a bunch of things that we were then going to show to the customer afterward to see if that was, the kind of thing that he was looking for. Whoops, I didn't mean to close that preview. And by the way, these look fantastic on iPads and Androids. I tested that out this weekend, so some pretty good views. And here I put some info, just some simple info buttons: historic St. Michael's Hotel, and then historic Whiskey Row. And there we are on a bench. Like I said, this was just for testing, so it's not meant to, this isn't a final version. But you can also do other things, like I've got a little camera right here, Mountain Spirit Gallery. That's another one of my clients as well. And Ron Evans has been there for a while, so we could actually click into his store if we wanted to. And we're going to talk to him about that this week and tell him the project that we're up to and see if he'd like people visiting with a virtual tour. Then we have the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, and we also have a clickable down here. So we basically took a quick trip around the block. It worked out pretty nicely. And I have to say, I've watched a lot of reviews on 360 viewers, and there's a ton of them out there. And CloudPano seems to be one of the up-and-coming ones. I've watched several folks who I would call experts on YouTube over last week and into the weekend, reviewing the best ones, and it's pretty consistent that everyone's thinking CloudPano is really well on its way. So if you want a very simple, very quick way to put together these 360 virtual tours, CloudPano sure seems like a great one. If you notice on the left-hand side, they've got a branding kit for you, your own logos. You can upload floor plans. And Corey had mentioned before that you can also do some Google Map things. I'm going to show you that in a minute with another one. Very nice. Can you embed these 360 pianos directly onto your website? Oh, Jerry, you're getting way ahead of me, man. Yes. So I'm pulling up Firefox now, and I'm on my Explore Prescott. This is a site that I do practice stuff with. It was intended for an SEO testing platform for myself and a friend. And what I'm doing now, so this weekend, yesterday, I popped up one of these viewers. So here we are on my Explore Prescott website. And let's scroll over here up. And this is the Theasys one. And I'm going to stop it from moving around. And we're going to look at Theasys next. This is embedded on my website, Jerry. So using Theasys, which is another one that we'll look at in a minute, I just popped this one together. And so this is embedded on a post. So it's a WordPress blog post. This could be embedded on a page as well. CloudPano does it. All of them do it. You want an embed code, all of them do it. So, so there you go. Look at that. You made me jump ahead, Jerry. So this one, I have an info button here, Yavapai County Courthouse. But like I said, this is embedded on my website. Talk about awesome. One of the other things when we talk about Theasys in a minute, and I'm probably saying the name wrong. I'm saying it the same way that one of the reviewers said it. But there we are again. So same images. We got to use the same images over and over again, and we'll be doing more of that testing this week. But one of the things I liked on Theasys was some of their buttons. The buttons were cool. We'll get to that, and I think you might agree with me that the buttons are cool. So here we are at one street corner. So I kind of roughed this one out, and it's not fully done, and I've got a little more to play with and try out. Like I said, Jody's out shooting new photos for us right now, so we'll be able to play with that this week. So if you check on azdrone.net or here on exploreprescott.org, you might see some new ones of these this week as well. So, keep your eyes open. Let's go ahead and minimize Firefox, and let's hop back into here. So what I found so far, like I said, super, super easy to use. CloudPano definitely fits the bill and is pretty powerful. You also have settings in here as to how you want things to go. When we go back up to edit tour, we also have our tour properties for your information. You can add more images, sort images, but this is just such a simple, obvious interface. You can really jump off and dive into it pretty quickly. Most of these places let you sign up for free to do a little testing. So CloudPano allows you to do a couple of panos. And that's enough to test it out to get a feel as to whether or not you like it. So I'm going to close CloudPano now, and let's close that. So this is the dashboard when you add your different tours. They can all go up here. Now remember, if you're here because of drones, you can do 360 drone images. I've done lots of them. So imagine for a customer that you're working with, aerial 360s leading into interior 360s, the sky is the limit with this. You could go down to places like Watson Lake where we go regularly. You could do a tour of the Watson Lake Park and do an aerial tour linking different areas together because it's got that lake there. So you could connect multiple tours together. There's a lot of ideas and a lot of things you could do with these. And shooting the 360s is pretty easy. We all know that. That seems to be the easier part. It's the post-production and how you're displaying these things that can get complicated. And by the way, today is not all 360s. The second part of today, we're going to start talking a little bit about SEO because it's been requested. So with that in mind, last week someone said, could you start talking about that? And I said, you know what? I will. I'll do that. So here we are now on Theasys. Theasys. So this is another one. This is a little more complicated, but you can do a lot of stuff for free on this, so you don't have to sign up for their full version, and you can make some really nice tours with it. One of the reviewers that I came across, they picked some of the really high-end ones, and then they also picked some mid-range ones, and they really like Theasys. So this was one of the ones I wanted to try out. Not sure how hosting goes monthly. Until a property sells, I can give the customer 360 and let them deal with hosting them. Absolutely. And a lot of them, Corey, let you download it and then you can host it on your own platform as well. I think I might be doing some things with Theasys just because of how powerful I found it to be this weekend. So let's click on this really quick. Actually, let me arrow back. So I'm at my main screen, virtual tours. I can upload stuff from here. But what I'm going to do is select the Courthouse Square. And we are now into the upload panoramas and build your virtual tour. So I can click in here to upload some more stuff. I gave it some information here, of course. And then down at the bottom, here we go. We've got the Prescott Courthouse Square virtual tour. I can customize it. I can preview it. Let's go ahead and give it a preview really quick to see what it's looking like. So I think the quality is almost on par with CloudPano. I was noticing a couple of things zooming in and zooming out. So it seems that not all 360 viewers are created the same. Some of them do a better job with the images. Some of them get a little more pixelated, and it's the same images that I'm testing out from viewer to viewer. So it's interesting to see the differences. I am liking the overall look of this. And when we looked on my Explore Prescott website before, the one that I embedded on that website was from Theasys. So right here, we've got a click button, Yavapai County, Historic Courthouse Plaza, and we can zoom in a little, but I actually locked how much I can zoom in and out. So when we start looking at Theasys here, you're going to find a ton of features. So CloudPano, super, super easy. I can put it up in a few minutes. Theasys, not as easy, but wow, do I have a lot of choices that I can make. So let's just rotate this over here. Check out this icon. Does it look kind of like an emoji icon? Yes, yes it does. You have some access to some really awesome icons and things. So I was getting a kick out of this yesterday. So hey, look, I've got a little suitcase button here at the historic St. Michael's Hotel. I've blocked the entrance off. It's probably not the best place to put that button, but once again, I was testing, so I could work this out a little better and make it a little nicer, right? So let's rotate this because I had a little fun with this. So there we are. Some kind of weird chromatic aberration down here on this particular image, and it did show up in all the other ones. So something was going on with the camera and the shot. I'm going to click the down Whiskey Row here. So here we are. This side of the courthouse is facing Historic Whiskey Row. Historic Whiskey Row has a lot of art galleries, a couple of bars, a couple of other little knick-knack shops. But let me rotate this around. And what I wanted to show you was, hey, look at this. It's a little painter's palette, right? You have a ton of icons that are usable, resizable, can be manipulated in 3D on Theasys. So really slick. Just making sure I'm not missing anyone else. So one of the things I did with this, I actually covered up Ron's store. When I do an official one, I'll put a little thing up here in the air instead of covering up his shop. But if I click on this one, it allows me to click through to other websites. So our artists. So it got me right into Ron's store. So I could have done another one to walk across to Whiskey Row and then gone into the gallery to take a look at all the bronzes that Ron has available through some very famous bronze sculptors. Prescott's very well known for the bronze sculptors here in town. So there's a lot of them and they do some pretty amazing work. I'm going to go ahead and close that. So if you ever come to Prescott, stop by Mountain Spirit Gallery, say hi to Ron. But so we can click into other websites, we can, link things, we can actually bring our 360 tour into his store if we wanted to, guiding people along. A lot of people in Prescott for the different small stores have these little cards and brochures and things. But if you're planning a visit to a location beforehand, you don't have those cards and brochures, it sure would be nice to look around to see what it is you want to visit while you're there. So, all right, let's stop looking at the player here and let's go down to customize. So once again, Theasys, and I'm watching the clock right now to be ready to shift gears afterward. And in the upper left, edit tour in the VR editor. So I'm going to hit that. It took me a few minutes to figure my way around this place. Okay. So now we saw CloudPano with some really simple stuff. Very easy to add icons. And now here we are in Theasys. And there's a lot of extra buttons over here. Number one, we've got an info button over here. Tells us the name of the tour, how many images in it, how many hotspots. And then we can also go down to panorama movement so we can make it slower and smoother, or fast and maybe a little clunkier. There are multiple things. So if you start making icons to link to the next scene, they actually, if you link an icon one way, Panoramas backwards auto linking. So if I link from this one to this one, when I get to this one and edit it, I can tell it to auto backlink to the other one, saving me time on putting buttons everywhere. So that is a really slick feature. I'm going to close the panorama movements, and then they have a tour background sound. You can do an audio voiceover for each scene, or you can do an audio voiceover for the entire tour. Awesome. I tested this out yesterday. I broke this microphone out. I did a little recording and I added it to one of the scenes. It was awesome. But you know, not everyone's going to want to hear my voice. So, but you could have, if you were doing this for a client, you could have your clients do voiceovers from room to room or scene to scene. It's very powerful. Geolocalization, so it actually gives me my GPS coordinate of where that was shot. And I can put notes in here, so if I need to remind myself of something, I can. This was just the first info thing. Then we actually jump into our images. So now we're in an image area where we can look at the geolocalization. Panorama background sound, so for the individual one. Panorama, it's 0 point. You can do leveling. So let's say your 360 camera was a little off. You have the option to level things out here, X, Y, and Z coordinate plane. So then you can set your default view, and then you can test your default view. So I just click test because that was my default view. As you notice below that, I have zoom limits. So I can actually limit how far in and how far out people go. So if I don't want them over zooming into a super pixelated area, I can keep them away from that. Our rotational axes, we can also do an auto rotation on it. So we could set a default auto rotation, which I have not done with this one. So that's just looking at one of the images. By the way, the images are all down on this slider bar here. So we can go from image to image. So we're not, this isn't a full tutorial on this. We're not covering all of it, but yeah, this is a very, very powerful one. And then we also can enhance it. So maybe we already did some editing, some post-production work. Well, you can do a little more in here. So if you want to, you can enable the enhancements. You can work on your color, temperature, tint, color correction. So red, green, blue, your gamma, exposure, brightness. So you can actually do more post-production right here in Theasys. Once again, as I said before, you can do a lot of free stuff with these guys. They put a little ad down at the bottom, but they're not limiting you to anything. And they do have a monthly fee as well, like CloudPano and the others. So you can get a couple of upgraded features. But the power of this thing, the tools and the options it gives me are incredible. Okay, next one, Hotspot Properties. So when we're going to make these hotspots, see me pointing at the hotspots. When I point at them, we can alter their properties. I can make a new hotspot if I want to. And here's what I was really digging. So what can we do for hotspots? Well, we can do little art things, right? Well, check this out. I'm going to go under icons, and I'm going to go under emojis, and I'm going to just do art, and we've got that. All of these emoji things here can be hotspots for us. So if we just wanted to use arrows, oh, look at those arrows. Those are some of the arrows that you've seen in this thing. But then we can do, let's see, lol. Oh, for a lollipop. Smile. So we've got some smiles. But basically, there are tons of button opportunities. These buttons are resizable. So as you can see in this scene that I'm in, I have 4 hotspots. I have an art hotspot. I have an arrow up, an arrow up, and an arrow up. You can also do text hotspots, 2D and 3D. You can create sun flares off of the sun in your presentations, which blew my mind. Then you can do polygon shapes, so you can draw your own polygon lines. And you can make presets. So if you have one that you like, so I've got my info buttons and my arrow next buttons, so I can make these buttons. But talk about a ton of options. This was mind-blowing. Now, Corey, what you said, so I'm looking back over here, monthly until the property sells. You could give it to the customer. and not deal with hosting it. Oh, that wasn't the one. You had also mentioned something about the Google Maps. Yeah. All right. So this is going to blow your minds. Well, maybe it won't. I'm easily entertained and amused, I suppose. Map. You can build this right in. So one of the functions and features is that you can build this automatic map function that we're looking at right now. It'll show up on a tablet. It'll show up on a smartphone. And hold on one moment. I'm sorry. I have to ignore that. Sorry, at least I knew enough to turn the ringer off today. But it was still vibrating in my pocket, so getting a call from somebody. Anyways, on this, so we're looking over here. This is absolutely incredible. This is the Courthouse Plaza. This is where we took those shots. And when I'm selected onto one of these, I can rotate them. Are you seeing this? I can rotate them on the map. So if I want to pick this one down here, so now we know what we're looking at, and it's actually rotating on the map for me. But so I can go through the tour by clicking these hotspot buttons. I can go through the tour by manipulating each of these icons. So when Jody gets back today, we're going to have around the perimeter, then we're going to have into the courthouse area, and then from the top of all the courthouse stairs as well. But every single one of these things, a visitor to your town, your downtown, or your client's area can easily pull up this map with the Theasys one, see exactly where these things are, and maybe they're down the road, maybe they're over here at this intersection, and you're like, oh yeah, I want to go see this. Oh, well, here's all the hotspots right here so that you can see all of the different areas around here. So here's one of the statues. But so I was blown away by this mapping feature. Right below the mapping feature, you can put a floor plan in if you wanted to put a floor plan in. So if you're doing real estate work. And then at the bottom of this, they do have a help file. And with all of the options in this thing, it's absolutely insane how many options are in this. There's a much steeper learning curve than a CloudPano. CloudPano, you can literally have a 360 tour up in minutes, and a really nice looking 360 tour that's very smooth and very easy to use. Theasys, you can produce very similar results, and you have a lot more tools, you have a lot more options. So like I said, learning curve, but you could probably make some very cool and interesting tours. You can also embed the videos into the tour. So Corey, embedded Theasys. Is the map embedded in the Theasys app? It can be. So that map can show up. There's a bunch of other options in Theasys. So we were looking at the VR editor. There's a million billion other options. So out of the VR editor, when we're looking at this one, we have autoplay with a bunch of options. We have logos with a bunch of options. Starting panorama, you can change. Onload transitions. Down here, we have maps. So we can have the map open by default. So there it is. Sorry, I scrolled too fast. So let's scroll right here. We can have the map open by default. We can auto close the map when a person takes an action. We can have it automatically show the map. That radar screen was that little green thing rotating around as I was looking at the images. So there are so many options on this. You got to go through them. But yeah, it can be embedded right into it so that when I pull this up on my iPhone, which I did yesterday, the map is right there. Now, when I was looking at it on the iPhone, the map took a little too much space for my liking. So what I would want to do is have the map up initially, and then when I take an action, have the map closed. But so there are just gobs of additional settings, global settings for your tour on this. And then you can also do HD quality. Should this be a high def quality right off the bat, or should you let it load faster for mobile users? So there are so many features and options here. I literally spent hours playing with this. So when I first tried this Saturday, I got a little disgusted with it and I walked away because it was complicated. It's like learning Photoshop. Compared to CloudPano, it's just so easy to put it together. But this feature-rich environment, that's what I'm going to call it, is really catching my attention. So I'm going to be playing with this one some more, but later today I'm going to be working with another one called Kula. As Jody and I have divided up which ones we're doing today in testing. So we're testing a bunch in the end. And I'll of course tell you guys about that. So is the map linked with Google Maps? It's Google Maps, Corey. And then there's another option for other map services as well. Like I said, so many options. I spent hours looking through this when I finally got unfrustrated and realized how much power this particular one had. And like I said, you don't have to pay them the monthly fee. This one gives you free and unlimited uploading. They just have a couple of tools that aren't available to you. So that was pretty compelling to me. All right, I looked at the clock, so I'm 4 minutes over on where I wanted to be, but I wanted to show you these. So we'll be talking more about the 360s, and they'll go hand in hand with drone stuff because I've got a couple other fun ideas too. On days when I'm not doing client work, we want to get out a little more because we've got a couple other ideas. And this Thursday, we're also driving down to Cave Creek to do a real estate photo shoot for a very high-end house. So that should be fun as well. Maybe some of that will appear in next week's. All right, let's go ahead and minimize that Chrome window. And now, look, so I'm on Explorer Prescott right now because Jerry made me jump ahead. Teasing you, Jerry. Okay. So I had another question, and I can't remember who it was from, but they wanted to know a little more about SEO. So Explorer Prescott is a site that I started with a friend a couple of years ago. It was supposed to be an SEO testbed, a platform for him as he was learning some web design skills. The website kind of got pushed off to the side and not utilized because I was more focused on other things, and my friend lost interest in practicing SEO and things on the site. It was all okay. Sometimes you start up a project and it just stalls out, but the whole intention of this site was for one of my classes on building websites with Xtheme. And the other reason I was building the site was testing out some SEO skills to see if we could get found, and compete with some of the other local websites, which we could. But so the big question I had from someone else was about search engine optimization and getting your drone business website found. Now, if you're going to do this organically, which means you're going to type things up and create meaningful content, it is going to take a little while. It's not overnight. Google is not going to find you overnight. Don't fool yourself if you're doing organic search engine optimization. If you're doing pay-per-click with Google, where you're paying them to get you to the top of the page, perfectly fine to do that. It could get very expensive. So if you're building your drone business and you don't have a big budget and you're just going to have to do it through organic search engine optimization, you can do it. So the number one thing, I need a sip of water. So hold on one sec. My apologies. My throat is always dry by the time we're done with these. So if you're going to start building your website and looking to do your own search engine optimization, it's going to take a little while longer, but you can get found. So the biggest thing that I always tell people, it's all about the words. I know we're looking at this right here, and there we go on azdrone.net. We've got these beautiful images right at the start. And I see a lot of people's websites, a lot of photographers and other artists, and they present their portfolios, and their portfolios are gorgeous, and their websites are very pretty, but they're lacking on words. And how does Google read your website? How does Google read an image? Google can read alt text in an image. So when you load up an image onto the web, if you put alt text into it, Google can read that part. But usually you don't put a lot of words in there. Maybe you say historic downtown Prescott's Whiskey Row. There's my alt text. But the pages that I have on my website need words. That's how we communicate with each other. Yes, we like visual stuff. Yes, we like pictures, and maybe our business is all about taking pictures with drones and flying construction sites and those types of things. So let's put up a bunch of those images and no words. Nobody will ever find you. You have to write meaningful paragraphs. Google, when it comes to your website, it's reading your site. It used to be that we could use these keyword metas. We had all these behind the scene things where we could load up a bunch of keywords. We don't have that anymore. Google's actually coming to your website and reading your website. And as Google reads through your website, as we scroll down on AZ Drone, I've got paragraphs and paragraphs of information on this front, probably more than a normal person is going to go read. I understand that. I already expect that, and I anticipate that. They're not going to read the whole page. But if I've done my job with my search engine optimization well, they're going to find me for a lot of keywords. So when I first started learning SEO, and so as far as I know today, I haven't gone out and read any updated things on Google, having more than 300 words per page is very good, because each page you can use targeted keywords, and those keywords are going to help generate people coming into you. So there are a lot of tools out there to help you with keyword planning. Google's got, they had their keyword planner, and there's tools like SEMrush. That's one that I use to track some of my customers. SEMrush actually allows me to kind of look over their shoulders, see their growth and that kind of stuff. And but there's another really simple way. So as you saw, all right, my front page has a fair amount of content with a fair amount of words, right? Well, there's another really cool web page out there called the Web Page Word Counter. Haha. I used to use this before I started using SEMrush and paying my monthly subscription. Okay, let me just making sure I'm not missing anyone. So, before I signed up with SEMrush to do all their reporting and everything, when I was first building stuff just for myself and not for clients, I would always run over to the web page word counter. And I always recommend it to clients too. Hey, go take a look at your page, because some of my customers actually write their own material, and I'm there just to help guide them along. But so from my front page, I grabbed my front page name, azdrone.net, and I plugged it into the web page word counter, and it told me, hey, you've got 780 words on that front page. Awesome. So that well exceeds Google's requirements. And then what words are on my front page? Drone, services, aerial, estate, real, so real estate, data, construction, AZ, photography. And then you go down. So these are my non-common keywords. So these are the keywords that are gonna stand out to Google. Now, if you were to subscribe to something like SEMrush, you can do more keyword planning in SEMrush as well. And let me double check. I think, did I not? I did not. So I'll pull up SEMrush after, but we really don't even need to go down the rabbit hole of SEMrush today. What I'm saying to you, when you first start out, what you need to think about is, what do you want to say about your business? Who are you? Are you an aerial photographer? Are you a photographer? Are you a videographer? Do you offer all of these services? So think of the keywords associated with your business, and you're going to want to sprinkle those keywords throughout your website. You don't want to front load your front page just saying Prescott, Arizona drone flights, Prescott, Arizona drone flights. You're not going to get away with that. If you do a bunch of repetitive stuff, Google's going to catch you. So you need unique content on each page, and you need to focus on different keywords for each page. So our primary stuff on this one was drone, services, aerial. Prescott is in there, photography is in there, and I do come up front page for Prescott drone photographer and a couple other Prescott labels as well, which is what I want, because I want people to know, hey, I'm operating in this area. So when you're building your website, make sure to tell people where you're located. And I'm not joking, because I don't know if one of you on today, I don't know if he's here right now, but I had one friend, or a client's friend, whatever you want to call them, who got in touch with me from the East Coast and said, I want to get found. Can you check out what I've done with my website? And I got done looking through the website, and I said, nowhere in your website does it say where you're located. So number one, let people know where you are. So let's grab another page. Let's go to my drone services, construction services. Click on that one really fast. So I'm being patient. I've been changing some things up on here and updating this finally, which I've mentioned before. I always neglect my own website because I'm doing work for other customers on their websites. So I'm grabbing that. Let's go over to the website word counter, and that's the construction services page. Let's go count those words. So we're just waiting for it to do its job. Oh boy, this page has got 1,062 words on it. I talk a lot, don't I? Okay, Non-common keywords: drone, data, construction, aerial, project, services, AZ for Arizona, modeling, site, map, month, progress. I think you're getting an idea here. This is for a page on gathering drone data for construction clients, and they do find this page. We have been working on some new things since Jody's layoff. She is now working into doing interior real estate photography, so she's been changing some pages around, loading up some different content. This one is probably short on content. I'm just looking at it. Doesn't look like we've got a lot of keywords, but it is not done, so we're still working with it. But let's just go check it out. Let's count some words. All right, 548 words. Hooray. Drone photography, real estate. I wonder what this page is about. So as you see, what we write on our pages, we put a lot of thought into the keywords that we want showing up in those pages. So in other areas under our drone services, we've got aerial photography, available formats. Then I've got my drone classes. We've got our About Us. And we also have information throughout the website that we are based out of Prescott, and we use Prescott often. In our footer bar here, which shows up on every page: Prescott, Arizona real estate, Prescott drone progression, Explore Prescott, which is that other site, contact us. So every one of these pages is a marketing opportunity. Now, I'm not a great marketing guy. Believe me, I'm not a door knocker or anything like that. Can't cold call to save my life. But I do understand enough how search engine optimization works to where I can funnel the people and I want. Like I said, this is not going to go as quickly as if you did pay-per-click. The thing with pay-per-click is that you can spend hundreds and thousands of dollars a month, and it's going to route people to you. Absolutely. So you need to feel really confident in your sales to funnel all these people into you. Now, in the case of a drone construction and progression business, so, that's a big part of what we're doing now. I don't need 6,000 people a month coming to the site. 200 people a month coming to the site who are doing some kind of construction work in the greater Prescott or greater Arizona areas is who I want coming in to see me. So this is a niche market, and this is a niche marketplace for me. So with that in mind, I can easily craft pages that are actually going to get people to come to me for Prescott, Dewey, Mayer, Chino Valley, Prescott Valley, Skull Valley, all those areas. I regularly check with SEMrush. So that's the other thing, is I can track, what the keywords are, how people have been finding us. And then I know what's working and where we're soft on things. So if people aren't coming up on some of the other items, I know what to fix. So yeah, there's that main page again. And let's go to the drone services and just take a look at aerial photography. So this is an older page that still needs some updating again. But yeah, this is a very out-of-date page, so that'll be another one for us. And that's the other thing. So if you're doing this drone business, you're focused on drone flights and getting those new customers and post-processing and doing your deliverables. Somewhere in there, you're going to need to fit your online marketing too. So dedicate a day or two a week to doing one thing or another thing, and keep things mixed up, keep it fresh for you. So we just did this other page that I definitely need to go fix. But let's look at those keywords again: drone, photography, aerial, AZ, video, services, data. So when people do these searches, it's a combination of these words. But Google recognizes that, hey, this page and this website, it's about drones, and it's about drones in Arizona, and it seems to be about video and photography as well. So you start coming up in these searches. So let's just take a look. Prescott, AZ, drone photographer. Because one of my customers said to me that's what he searched for. azdrone.net comes up number 1 and number 2. And then my weird SEO website, exploreprescott.org, comes up number 3. I'm in the top 3 positions. And there are other drone photographers here. So it takes time, but you can absolutely get found for the searches that you want to be found for. The other thing to sit down and think about is, what do I want to be searched for and found for? Because you might not want to take every drone job. Maybe, you took my class on the drone construction progression reporting and you said, wow, this is what I want to do forever and ever, and I don't ever want to do real estate. Okay, well, then you need to make sure that you stay away from talking about real estate and you're only talking about the construction progression services. And you want to pick those keywords that represent your business and represent your area and represent the services that you're offering. So right now, today, if you're just starting to build your website and you're starting to think about keywords and things, you can use this web page keyword counter. You can go look at your competitors. So if you got someone down the road who seems to be getting the lion's share of everything and everyone is going to them, hey, go take a look at their website. Pull up the web page word counter, see what they're saying. Do not copy what they say, okay? So I'm gonna be mean right now. Don't copy word for word what people are saying. I've seen people do it often. I've had people use my site as a template, and I don't mind that. But you really need your own, your own voice. But the bigger thing is, if you copy people's verbiage word for word, you're diluting their search engine results and you're diluting your own search engine results. So be as original as you can. Yes, I'm super happy if you take core concepts off of my website or other websites, you're not going to hurt anybody. But if you actually copy things paragraph for paragraph, you're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing the other people a disservice as well. So veer away from that. You can still have the same general concepts and say it in different ways and still use the same keywords, just, mix it up a little bit, feature different ideas and concepts in a different order from other things that you've seen. But in the end, your originality and your voice need to come through on this. We had another customer that we flew for last week, and one of his comments was an incredibly professional website. And he said, also, you actually called me back because he was trying to get in touch with other people and email other people who didn't call him back or email him back. So when you get those inquiries, you need to be ready to have a conversation with people. Make sure to follow up with them as quickly as you can to let them know, hey, I got your information, but I'm in the middle of another project right now. Can I call you in a couple hours, or can we talk first thing tomorrow morning? So you can start going through competitor websites. You can start getting some ideas of their keywords. When you're ready down the road, if you really want to do a deep dive and really start looking at competitive analysis and things and the people around you, that's when a tool like SEMrush comes up. So SEMrush will help you create reports. So I actually have 10 different websites for clients that I've got loaded onto SEMrush, and I actually have weekly reports that are emailed directly to me so that I can look at the competitive analysis, see who's moved, see if they've dropped back any, if they're getting ahead some more. And you can really do a lot of keyword planning there. So that's the basics. That's our basic thoughts on SEO, search engine optimization, is if you write compelling information that's accurate about your business on your website, you will start getting found down the road, but it's not an instant overnight thing. If you have the disposable income and you want to start getting found tomorrow, pay-per-click is the thing you can do, and it does work for people. But you can get into the hundreds and thousands of dollars a month really fast. So I always like to show people how they can do it for themselves in the long run. But if you're ready to go, if you've got your fleet of drones, you've got other drone operators with you, and you just need to start getting found today, well, it's going to be a pay-per-click route. Ooh, tongue twister there. If you want to take a little time and you're building into your business, then I would say going the organic SEO method is the best way to go. So read around, read my site, read competitors in your area, take a look at other famous drone operators who are on YouTube to check out their websites. Take them through the web page word counter. So by the way, that's wordcounter.net/website-word-count. And I've been using this for years, and it's been a fantastic tool because it tells me if I'm going in the right direction. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. And like I said, the reason I do SEMrush, that's for my clients so that I give them regular reports on where they're at. And that's part of one of our services that they pay for. So we take care of that side of the house. So there we go. That is the start of our SEO conversation for drone pilot websites. And I hope that that answered some questions, since I had that question directly on YouTube and then also an email. And going forward, we'll talk a little more about that. So if you have bigger questions about it, please leave your questions in the comments below. I will get back to them when I'm done with this video today. I do have several comments on YouTube that I haven't gotten to over the weekend. So that's the start of the week. That's what Monday's about. Oh, and so by the way, this week we're running around playing with some more 360 tour stuff. Going down to Cave Creek this week to do a real estate photo shoot. And then I'll be doing another flight, weather permitting, on Friday. And then a little more software experimentation. Also, I've been working on new tutorials, and folks over on the Patreon channel, you will be seeing some of them. I had to stop the tutorial work this week because I found a very glaring problem in a workflow. So I've let my client know I'm not working on this tutorial till we get this part hashed out. So tomorrow we've got a conference call about that to figure out what's going on. So if you're a patron over on Patreon, you will be seeing some more of this stuff. And I'm also bouncing it off you for ideas. So, hey, you get a tutorial on an application and you get to have some input as to how you would like this tutorial. So, I want to make sure that it's usable for both entry-level folks as well as folks who've been flying their drones for a good bit. So it's another busy week. It's going to be another hot week here. And we've also had a lot of winds. That was the other reason why I wasn't doing all my tutorial work last week, because we were having 22-mile-an-hour winds. The other day on Saturday, the weather forecast on my forecast app was just a blowing wind symbol. So if that doesn't tell you, don't fly that day, I don't know what does. All right, everybody, I'm going to wrap this one up. So I hope you found the 360 stuff interesting. It's not just terrestrial. You can use this in your drone business, and maybe you can make some really cool aerial virtual tours. That's been clicking around in my head a lot now. So I might build one just for fun. And yeah, we'll make a tutorial out of that too. So, all right, have a great start to the week, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. I always appreciate it. I hope we've had some good information today, and I hope I've given you a couple of things to think about, and maybe even learn something. Or maybe you just hung out here from listening to me rattling on, because that happens. All right, we'll see you again next week, and as soon as I get some more tutorial material put together, it'll be appearing on YouTube, and of course on the Patreon channel. And the Patreon channel, I gotta say, I really appreciate all of the patrons here. You guys are helping to support this channel, and I'm hoping to grow it further. If it grows further, we'll be doing bigger tutorials, and maybe we can get a standalone machine to finally do web ODM, a full review instead of my only partial review. So if you help and support this channel, it's going to translate into more information coming out of this channel. So I appreciate the current patrons, and I hope to see more patrons in the near future. Wow, I can't talk anymore today. Sorry, my mouth's getting dry again. We'll see you later in the week. Have a great one. Let me look down here, and great information. Thanks, Tyler. You all have an awesome day, awesome start to the week, and we'll see you again really soon. Now I'm hitting the end stream button. And